Hi, for those that are watching for the first time, welcome. I'm Dr. Latifat, aka Manifit MD. Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I'm a physician. I'm also a money coach. I help women physicians learn their finances and be financially confident and empowered. Today, I want to talk about the idea of diversifying versus die, as in DIE, versifying. I know I made the word up, but I'll explain why to you in a moment. As you know, many of my videos and the educational contents that I have are inspirations from people that I talk to, from women physicians or humans in general that I talk to. And a lot of this are actually based on real conversations. I learn a lot from my audience, and there are certain things that sometimes they share that I think is important for us to talk about. So that's why I'm talking about this today. I was speaking with a physician recently who was talking to me about how she wants to diversify her sources of income. She has some sources of income currently from her primary job as a physician. She co-owns a surgery center. She has stocks. She has commercial properties, and they were in the process of creating a product, a physical product that they were doing some market research and development, sort of like working in the development process, but they had seen other people doing some other investments and they're considering checking those out as well. So before I go further, I'm going to describe what I mean by diversifying. So diversifying is DI, so you can tell the difference. Die is like DI, versifying. So I've actually never heard the term used before. I even Googled and I saw like some random use of diversifying that didn't really make sense. So I'm claiming myself as the source of this new definition of diversifying. So I'm going to be using it to describe the intent to diversify income source, but doing it to an extreme area, to an extreme level where you're not actually maximizing each leg of your investment, or you're doing this at the expense of your wellness. Okay. So I'm very pro diversifying, and I believe that every physician should have multiple sources of income. However, there are times when FOMO, like fear of missing out, can start to stretch in, sort of like sip in. And what happens is that people start to have so many legs of their investments that it starts to look like little one piece spaghetti because they're not strong, solid legs, right? So, what are some of the most common causes of diversifying? Number one that I found is not having clear goals. So if you don't know where you are, you don't know where you're trying to go, every stop is going to look like a great idea, right? You're going to follow the next shining idea that's coming up. And don't get me wrong, the goal is not to be fixed in your thoughts or your mindset or not being open to great ideas. No, that's not the goal at all. But the goal is to have a general direction that you're going so you can be objective, right? Otherwise, you're going to start chasing the next shiny object. The number two reason is comparison. So I've done a video before that I called compare. I think I called it comparisonitis or something like that. But it's that idea where you're doing something because of FOMO, because other people are doing it. And when you don't do what they're doing, you feel like you're missing out. Ignoring the fact that you may have your own path, you may have your own chart, you may have your own process of achieving financial freedom or achieving financial wellness, right? So, for example, it's like everyone is investing in Bitcoins, everyone is investing in individual stocks. Like, I don't care, right? So, that's the thing. I want you to remember that comparison of FOMO is another cause of diversifying. Okay. The third one I wanted to talk to you guys about is this cognitive confidence or lack of cognitive confidence. When your mindset is trained in a way that you can always find your way back to your mental Zen home, it's a good thing. So, for example, I trust my mind, not because it never gives me crazy ideas, but it's because I have spent a lot of time, effort, and money training my mind, right? So, I have developed an awareness that's helped me in being confident in my own awareness. And sometimes, right, I need to work on this myself. I work on this myself, or I have people around me that hold me accountable. I have friends, I have coaches around me that hold me accountable and they can set me straight. But the thing is, if you don't have that cognitive confidence, you're going to question every single thing you do. You're not going to be satisfied with where you are, and you're always going to be being tossed around by like the next wave. So how do you know that you're diversifying? If you're burned out, you're feeling burnt out, you're like, I'm doing this, it's overwhelming, I feel overwhelmed, I have too much going on. That could be diversifying. Okay, if you're not spending enough time or resources developing one skill or project or a source of income before moving on to the next one, it's like you're juggling too many balls in the air, you could be diversifying. Okay, if you have multiple sources of income you've started, but they're underperforming, or you have too much or too little investment in too many buckets, you may be diversifying. If this is you, there's a solution, because ultimately I think the goal is to remember that a lot of times when we're doing this, it's because we want financial freedom, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'm a huge fan of financial freedom for women physicians. That's literally the name of my program, right? But the bottom line is, I don't want us to do things at the expense of our health, objectively, right? Again, there are times when we need to work on our mindset, we need to work on our cognitive training, we need to work on stuff like the psychological part of things. However, if those are well and you're still feeling like you're juggling too many balls in the air, you may be diversifying. I know I'm exaggerating that die because I want you to know the difference in diversify and diversifying. Very different, right? So if this is you, here's what I'm going to recommend that you do. I'm going to recommend that you stop. Stop, reboot. Stop, right? Because you want to decide which projects you want to put on pause for now. And I'm not saying that you should withdraw the funds you already put in there, right? If you already invested in there, it's okay to keep it in there for now, but decide what balls you want to juggle. And I don't recommend juggling more than 3 to 4 balls at a time. Meaning those are the things that you want to grow. Those are things you want to be investing your effort and your time and your resources and your energy into. That's what I would recommend, because the goal is to diversify, and the goal is just to not die while trying to do it. Because also working on your mindset, really important, right? We talked about comparison, we talked about FOMO, fear of missing out. Because listen, this happens to everybody. Everybody, as humans, our brains have a tendency to want to compare. But what we have to do is now redirect our brains towards a better competitor or comparison. And the best competitor is a fair competitor. There's no point comparing yourself to someone that's different backgrounds, different resources, different goals. The best person to compare yourself to is someone with the same goal exactly, with the same birthday. I mean, we're scientists. We got to make sure that we're actually comparing to comparable things. And the best competition that's fair is yourself from yesterday. So yes, compare yourself, but choose yourself as the comparison. Don't choose someone else. It's you from yesterday is what you need to compare to, not someone else, right? And then the last one is loving yourself enough to schedule in time for rest, refresh, and reboot. Again, loving yourself enough to schedule time in, because that is important. You can burn out from anything, and I don't want you to burn out. If you can burn out from medicine, you can burn out from a job, from a gig, you can burn out from anything. And that is why I wanted to make sure I speak with you guys about this, because I want you to diversify, but I don't want you to die diversifying. If you've watched so far, thank you for watching. I'm going to be inviting, or if you're listening, watching or listening, I'm inviting you to a 5-day money reboot that I have coming up. This is going to be amazing. It's going to be from April 12th to April 16th, and it's specifically for women physicians. And I'm intentionally creating this with a busy woman physician in mind. Because remember, women physicians were skilled, we're talented, we're brilliant. Many times, a lot of us are extremely busy and we don't have the time, or we choose not to take the time to learn everything about everything. However, you want to learn the high yield point that's going to help you be confident in your money management. And that's what I'm going to be doing with you for 5 days. where we use an email-based system to have small tasks daily for 5 days, where you spend no more than 15 to 20 minutes per day on these tasks, so that at the end of 5 days, you will have gone through different areas of your finances that is important in your money management, in management of your money, and in management of your mind. That's really important. I'm also going to be having a daily Facebook Live where I do mini trainings that you watch at your own time to sort of take that learning even deeper, because I am committing to giving you value for 5 days. This challenge is free. You're welcome. I'm going to include a link. Actually, I don't have a link yet. If you're watching this on Monday, it's going to be open for registration on Wednesday, the week before. I believe that's April 7th. So that's the goal. It's going to be open for registration April 7th. I invite you to invite your body to come be partners in that group, but it's only for women physicians. And my hope is that we can all have money, we can pay off our debt, we can be confident in our retirement plans, we can have money to pay for our kids' educational funds if that's in line with our goals. We can spend money on the things that have value. We can spend our time on things that have value. Because if there's anything at all that we've learned from COVID, there's certain things that are important. It's health, relationship, breath, time, vacation. Hallelujah to that. So we're going to be talking about this. I invite you to be a part of it, and I will see you. Thank you for watching and have a fabulous day. Bye-bye.